Hey folks, what's going on? Accessibility. It can be a pretty awesome thing. Well, no, actually, it is. What am I referring to? Well, a little while back I went to a couple of events here in the Bay Area that address both accessibility and disability. One event talking about accessibility in the form of assistive technology, and the other event talking about disability in the form of film and entertainment. The first event I went to was called Vista Tech. It was a technology education conference. That's exactly what the tech stands for, TEC. It was hosted and organized by Vista Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And for those of you who don't know, well, a lot of you don't know, actually that's where I got my O&M training from, a lot of my assistive technology training, and just a lot of my blind training in general. So shout out to Vista Center. The conference was divided into two sections, the first one being companies showing off their latest and greatest products and just how they're making them more accessible to folks who are blind and visually impaired like myself, but also just ways on how they can improve the products for the future. The other half consisted mainly of panels and presentations where presenters talked about their products as well. The topics were actually quite varied, and it was nice to see this mishmash of just different things being talked about. Things like autonomous vehicles to accessible entertainment to high school kids talking about experimenting with new technologies and trying to figure out a way to create new gadgets and new tools for folks who are blind and visually impaired. One of the panels I went to was actually the one I just mentioned, the accessible entertainment, and there you had folks from companies like Netflix, Amazon, Verizon, the Audio Description Project, etc., talking about how technology has made entertainment more accessible for folks like myself and just what can be improved to make it even more accessible later on. Another panel I went to was for Apple, and yes, Apple was also part of Vista Tech. I knew basically everything that was being talked about there, but still there were folks there who did not know about some of the products, so it was nice to hear a bunch of oohs and ahs when they presented something like voice control and things like that. So it was just nice hearing those reactions from some of the folks sitting around me. Now, I really enjoyed Vista Tech because most of the time when companies, when they have new releases or things like that, accessibility isn't really brought up like much or even at all. So to have a conference that has that at the forefront, that is the main topic. I just want to mention that, of course, Vista Tech is not the only conference that talks about this kind of thing. There are quite a few more, especially CSUN, the biggest assistive technology conference out there, so I just quickly wanted to mention that. So here's hoping that I attend next year, but yeah, I had fun, so best of luck Vista Tech, best of luck Vista Center next year in doing this, because I might be there again. The other event I went to was a film festival in San Francisco. Now you're probably wondering, what exactly does a film festival have to do with accessibility and disability, right? Well, here's the thing, this was not just any film festival, this was a disability themed film festival. The film festival is called Superfest, and it's been going on for quite a while actually, even though I just recently heard of it like last year. The films screened there either are talking about disability, there's a disability theme to them, and or the creators themselves have a disability as well. The festival is organized by two different organizations, entities, or you know what I'm talking about. The first one being the Paul K. Longmore Institute on Disability at San Francisco State University. Now here's another little tidbit. I actually went to film school at San Francisco State, so I got my film degree from there, so it's kind of funny how these things just come full circle. The other organization in charge of Superfest is the Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired in San Francisco. Now what makes this festival different when you have your film screened, if you get selected to screen there, you have to do two things. You have to provide audio descriptions and captions for your film, because your film will be shown with open captions and with open audio descriptions. If you're wondering what open captions and open audio descriptions are, well, basically when the film is shown, the audio descriptions will be played out loud for everyone to hear, or the film will be played with all the captions there for everyone to read. Now what they did here was they actually had two screening rooms. One was the audio description room, which was the one I was in, and then you had the other room for everyone else where they showed the captions. Now I'm used to watching movies at home with audio descriptions, just playing them out loud, or if I'm at a theater I wear the headset and stuff like that, but it was really interesting just to sit there without a headset and in a room full of people just having the audio description being played out loud. It was different, but it was really cool at the same time. Most of the time when we watch movies or TV shows, they're mainstream movies that have been audio described or just given the accessibility treatment, but when it comes to independent films, it's a lot tougher, especially when it comes to audio descriptions. So here's to hoping that festivals like Superfest are able to start making a bit of a change, at least, you know, taking the accessibility part into the conversation. I just wanted to share these two events because I thought it was really cool that in my area there were two events that address both disability and accessibility. When most people talk about disability, especially folks who are able-bodied, it's like disability is talked about in a very negative way, and it does bring awareness to a lot of folks who may not know that, hey, we use technology, we watch movies and TV shows too. So yeah, if you've attended Superfest before, or if you're thinking of, you know, maybe attending Superfest in the future, or some sort of conference like Vista Tech, just, you know, leave it in the comments below. But anyway, I'm done talking here. I've rambled on too much. Yeah, so anyway, I will talk to you guys next time, and talk to you later. Take it easy.